It's the title song that never ends. Pro tip.
Jazz hands. Yeah, I don't know if anybody's told you or not, but your church is doing social media all wrong. You guys are missing it big time. And today we're going to show you how to fix that. Hey guys, welcome to another thrill-packed episode of the Church Media Guys Show. My name is Dave Curley, and if we've not met, I am the founder of ChurchTrainingAcademy.com, which is a place where you, me, other ministry-minded folks all come together to learn how to use and exploit media and technology so that we can take the gospel into this great big world that we have out here called the internet. With me, as always, is my trusty and rusty sidekick, Justin Nava. Good morning.
Need oil. I'm kidding. You call me Rusty, but I have to. You can't set me up like that.
Hey, here we go.
For anyone watching on audio, or listening on audio, they have no idea what just happened. What's up, Dave? What's up, everyone watching the podcast, the YouTube play, or watching live? Special what's up to Israel, who's watching live. I don't think they've ever watched live. And Dave, quick question:
Israel, like the nation? Wow, we're huge in Israel.
At least with one.
With one.
Dave, Rock Davis is watching live, and I want to give him props for watching live.
Yes.
He asks, what cams are we using for our live streaming? So real quick,
yes,
30 seconds, Dave. What cams are we using? You gave me my webcam, so I don't even know what it is.
Your webcam is a Logitech C910. Mine, I have right here, is a C920, and it's on a mic arm so that I can move it around. And I will show you, 2 seconds here. There we go. This camera right here is my Sony FX. Is it the FX or is it the AX? It's the FX 300, something like that, 3,000, 300, 3,000, 3 billion, I don't know, whatever. It's a 4K Handycam, and it is 33. That's what it is. Anyway, it is fantastic. I love it. It is a great camera. It shoots in 4K. I am not bringing it in 4K. I'm bringing it in as 1080. And I need to upgrade my video card, and then I can actually bring it in as like 1080 60, and then it gets really sexy. Anyway, but that's what we're using, and and we're using OBS. OBS is the software that we're using to do this. Why, Dave, are we using OBS? Number one, it's free. Number two, it's actually pretty light on the resources on your system, and number three, it is hot out in my garage where my TriCaster is and my full big huge lights and wall and television and big huge production set is and all that. So right now you're in here in my office, my room, see, right here in my studio here. And you?
Awesome. You're in my office, my studio. You can't see it because of the dual view, but you can see I got my Iron Man stuff all set up here. And Dave, you got me a backlight for my stuff, but I don't have a power plug for it.
What?
So I have to get a power strip.
Oh yeah, because it's just
up.
Just a little. Hang on, let me get you on the left screen there. There you go. Yeah, there you are.
There we go.
Sorry. We got you a light, but it's a 3-pronger.
Sure.
Yeah, 3. So
I got to get a power strip because I'm using one for my Iron Man and the other one for my fan. So I need to get a power strip so I can have
rock and roll.
So I can plug that in. So yeah.
Awesome. So that's what we're doing. So welcome to the show, Justin. I'm glad you're here. We are going to be talking about how social media that most churches are doing is completely missing the mark. We'll have a clip from our interview with Jonathan Malm, who is an author. And what website does he run? Sunday Social?
He runs Sunday Social and Church Stage Designs.
Yes, Church Stage Designs. Really cool. Really good author, really good guy. You guys are going to like it. He's got some great insights. And it was interesting when we were going through the interview with him and stuff. Were you having some aha moments like, duh, why didn't I? That all makes so much sense. Why haven't I thought of that? Moments like I did?
Yeah, the whole thing was an aha moment.
Yeah.
Like, aha, I've been doing it wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And now for our feature presentation.
Today on the Church Media Guys podcast, we are interviewing the manliest man that I know, Jonathan Malm. Jonathan's a creative entrepreneur and author. He runs SundaySocial.tv, a company that helps churches engage with their communities on social media. And he's written multiple books, including Unwelcome and the soon-to-be-released Baker book titled The Comeback Effect. Links to both of those will be down below. And I heard, rumor has it, Jonathan doesn't get haircuts. His hair actually cuts scissors. Jonathan, welcome to the Church Media Guys podcast.
Hello. I feel like I need to lower my voice an octave or two now.
Manly men are comfortable with their own voices, I think.
Truth.
So,
We're so glad you're here, Jonathan. Well, hey, dude, we're glad you're here, man. Thanks for taking the time out of your busy schedule to chill with us for a little bit and to share some of the wisdom that apparently you just can't help but put in books and like be like a really cool author and all this kind of stuff. We appreciate you, sort of slumming it with us for a little bit.
Yeah, you gotta come down to the common people's level every now and then.
Yes.
and as a common person, I really appreciate it. Fantastic. Like I said, we'll have both of your books down below in the show notes because they are really good books. Looking forward to that comeback effect. So, Jonathan, today, though, we're talking about social media. And It's interesting how we came across this because I am a proud Sunday Social subscriber. Every month I use your images for my own church, and I absolutely love it. And you actually started emailing, which again, I love. You actually started emailing your subscribers with tips, tricks, strategies, tactics to use with your own stuff. And you sent an email about how we should be using social media. And it was unlike just about anything else out there as far as how to view social media for your church. So, Jonathan, that's actually what we're talking about today. So first, I want to kind of talk about a big picture. First question is, who is social media for when we use it for the church?
Yeah, I mean, I think there are a lot of people trying to tout social media as a witnessing platform. Like this is your new outreach approach. And I don't actually agree with that. I think that's misusing social media. And I think a lot of churches are struggling, finding that they're getting, very little engagement. They're trying to figure out how to use Facebook ads without any success. And they feel like there's this target out in the distance, but they can't hit it and they don't know why. And I think a lot of it comes from that mentality of thinking that social media is to witness, is to reach people who are not connected to your church. But the thing about it is that there are really only probably two reasons that people are following your church on social media. And the first one is that they work at a church down the road, and so they're trying to see what you're doing. Or they probably already have some sort of connection with your church. Either they've attended themselves, or they have a family member attended, or a friend. So they have some connection with your church already. That's the only reason they're really actually connecting with your church on social media. So if you're trying to witness to them, you're probably missing the mark. Or if you're trying to constantly get them to, hey, come to church, or come to this event, or you're preaching to the choir and you're not being super effective with social media. So that's, I think, one of the big issues people have with hitting that target that they feel is somewhere out there beyond their grasp.
It's almost like they don't realize that they should treat the social media on their church almost like, or their church's page, their church's social media account, almost like their personal account. The guy across the street is not going to be like, ooh, Tate Springs Baptist Church, I got to follow him. He's not doing that, whereas the guy in the choir is. So until you articulated that, I want to say that that's probably been floating around in the back of my head, and I probably knew that. But when you put it into words, it's like, duh. Is there, you think, a strategy for getting people to follow your brand, or to follow your pastor, or to follow your church for social media, that can be effective, so that we can serve them and we can encourage and enlighten and witness? Yeah. And you following me there?
Yeah. So here's I think a great illustration, since we're talking about personal accounts. I have a lot of friends at church. And every now and then, one of them will follow me on social media. They'll want to be my friend on Facebook. And what I do, this is my new technique for vetting people, even if I know them, is I will look at their last 5 posts, or their recent 5 posts. And if any of them are about Plexus, Rodan and Fields, It Works, any of those multi-level marketing things, I'm not going to follow them back, and I'm not going to engage with them. The reason is that they're going to be constantly asking of me. It becomes a one-sided, self-seeking approach to social media, and that's not what I want to use social media for. And so I think a lot of churches are actually in that same boat, where if you look at their last 5 posts, there's nothing adding to my life. There's nothing encouraging. There's nothing like inspiring. There's nothing funny. It's really just saying, hey, come to our next service, or hey, make sure and tithe. Hey, make sure and come to a small group. Hey, it's all of these asks, and there's nothing that's being contributed back to my life. And so I think that's a big deal. Is the reason we love following Wendy's, the people who do follow Wendy's, is that it's funny. It actually adds to my life. They're not constantly telling me to buy the latest burger. They're making fun of their latest burger, or they're making fun of Chick-fil-A, or they're in these little feuds with other fast food restaurants.
Like they were doing last week with the IHOP thing. Yeah.
With IHOP. Yeah. So it's fun. It's something that adds to my life. And there are a few different kind of topics that add to my life, which is entertainment, funny, something fun. There's encouraging, there's inspirational. Those are the things people are probably wanting from your church. Probably not as much funny, although you can go that way, but really things that mirror what I'm getting from you on Sunday morning. That's what I want you to give me during the rest of the week. I don't want you to ask me to keep coming to Sunday morning. I want you to carry on what I experienced Sunday morning and carry it on throughout the week.
Well, I'm going to challenge you, because you said maybe your church shouldn't be doing something necessarily funny or something like that. And I think that's completely contrary, because I think too many churches focus on just the spiritual aspects of life and stuff. And that, I mean, we are so much more complex than that. I don't walk up to Justin and the first thing I do is go, well, I'm praying for you, brother. And I want you to know that the Lord is watching over you and guiding you.
Some people do.
No, I know. And that those people are one-dimensional. And, there's so much more in our life. So I encourage everybody to be funny, to share something silly, to share some dumb-looking meme, some kid with blue icing all over his face, sitting in his high chair, and the thing says, bring me another Smurf. I mean, that's hilarious, Share that with your people and stuff, because there's so much more. You need to speak into their lives at all these different levels.
Yeah, and I think, though, probably what I was saying with that is make sure that whatever you're posting on social media is in line with who you are as a church. I think sometimes churches try to be funny on social media and they miss a key element of humor. And the key element of humor is making something funny about the other person's world. They need to relate with it. And have you noticed that jokes that we say in church are really funny, even though they probably wouldn't be funny outside of the church? Like if you mention Starbucks, they're like, ooh, so edgy and cool. Whereas Starbucks is part of my everyday life. That's not in any way edgy or cool or funny. So there's an element of being aware that the people engaging with your jokes are outside of the church and are experiencing, some memes that are hilarious. And so if you're making a joke like, oh, you think it's hot outside, try hell. That's not a funny joke, first of all, even though a lot of churches think it is, and a lot of marquees will tell you differently. But second of all, is it's not what people are relating with on the day-to-day basis. That's not. I'm not questioning hell right now. I'm noticing something that Donald Trump is doing, or I'm noticing something that is going on with Wendy's or IHOP. Those are the funny things. So trying to make it about yourself is not funny, but making it about what people are engaging with, that is funny.
Let me ask you this. This is kind of the big golden question. And I think where the real meat of today's show is going to be is, what should churches be posting on social media?
Yeah, I mean, I alluded that a little bit to that a little bit, but really it's about taking what's happening on Sunday morning and expanding that and making that something that's applicable, like that emphasis, that's applicable to
you're
their life.
Big words.
But I spoke that right. That was amazing. But so that's something that applies to their everyday life. It's really something that whatever's happening on Sunday morning, I think you can apply that and work that out throughout the week. The crazy thing is, and then Brady Shear talks about this a lot, is most churches, assuming everyone comes to our church once a week, which is not the statistic. The statistic is 3 out of 8 only come to church. It's crazy. They come maybe 1 every 4 times now. That's the new statistic. So assuming they come every week, we really only have 1 hour out of 168 hours a week. So how can we take that 1 hour and expand it and make it broader? It's really, I think, a dynamic shift in churches. And it's something I've noticed with Sunday Social, and something that I think a lot of people aren't getting, is that it used to be that all of the media, all of the content, everything that churches were consuming and using and producing and creating were about Sunday morning. And so that's where 99% of the focus went, right? It's 99% of the energy. Now it's shifting where we're trying to figure out how to create stuff the rest of that week. And so a lot of the momentum is shifting to social media because that's where we have that touch point with people throughout the week. So I think really, and this is going to blow some people's minds, but I think that the message is probably needing to reduce in importance. I still think it should be rich. It still should be like dripping with scripture, but reducing the importance of that and then figuring out ways to get that content and make it in ways that applies to people during the week. So what's crazy about that is it's a shift in general. It's a shift I've been actually making too, as far as a blogger is, I got something today from a Google review. It says, hey, someone responded to your Google review, click here to see it. And I'm like, how selfish is that I have to click here to see something you could have easily emailed to me, right? Like it's a shift from, instead of clickbait, we're trying to actually give people something where they are. So instead of saying, hey, if you want to find out this Sunday, come here this Sunday. No, we're going to give them the best stuff right where they are on social media. You don't have to hold anything back. And people will come on Sunday morning. If you're adding value to their life, they'll come on Sunday morning to hear more. But man, take your best stuff. Take your encouraging thoughts. Take your funny stuff if you have something funny going on Sunday morning. Take your worship thought. Take your whatever's going on and just give them the best through social media.
One of the things that we teach is that, like, the live stream or the recording that you do on Sunday morning, the live event on Sunday morning is not the end, but it's the beginning. That's where everything starts, and that's the catalyst for the following week. So I always tell people, if your pastor does a series, and he's doing a series on marriage or something, and that's, we're talking about one aspect of it this week, and there's like 3 points or something, then throughout the week you can take some of these single, these points, these thoughts, these overarching themes or whatever. You can sort of clip that stuff out and, put up a 2-minute video on Tuesday that discusses one of these points, and then one on Thursday, and then on Friday morning you start, moving from reinforcing and discussing the topic, and then start kind of bridging it over in preparation for the next topic. And you're starting to put thoughts and questions in their heads that can then be resolved at the live event on Sunday morning, and then discussed about the following week and stuff, and it's kind of starting a conversation on Sunday morning at the live event, and then continuing that conversation on throughout the week. And then with what you're talking about, I think if you are supplementing through emails and stuff, and this is something actually that Justin and I are very big on, is with our audience, we email every day. We're constantly having a conversation with our audience and stuff, and I think there's something to that for the church as well. There's no reason why a church can't be sending an email a day, having a discussion, posing a thought, giving information, as well. Just kind of this whole thing. Don't forget, this week we're doing this. We're doing this. That's just one of the emails that goes out. Another one is, hey, we talked about this on Sunday. What are your thoughts on this? And here's something that I didn't mention. All that sort of stuff. And this entire social conversation that can just basically begin and then just continue happening.
Yeah, I think that's one of the questions people have is how much is too much when it comes to talking to people, or how much is too. So like thinking about like my favorite show, would I be willing to see my favorite show every week, like every day? If they had like a new episode every day, would I watch it? And the answer is, as long as it's good, like as long as it's great and it's something that is new and exciting to me and it's something about me, yes, I would watch it every day. So how often should you email people? Man, as long as you have something valuable to add to their lives. Again, if you're trying to say, if every week, every day you're saying, hey, come to service this next Sunday, you're not doing anything new. You're not doing anything that's adding value to people's life. You're just asking. I really believe in giving, 3 times as much as you're asking from people.
That's right.
And then I love what you said, really taking the thought and applying it throughout the week. Man, like it takes people like 3 or 4 times to hear something before they get it. Sometimes the first time they're hearing it, they're just like wondering, wait, was that even for me? And then second time they're hearing it, they're like, wait, what did he say? And then third time they're hearing like, oh, okay, how does that apply to me? Like it takes a long time for people to get it. So the same way that a lot of pastors are really changing their messages to be, one main point that's all 30 minutes. Man, why don't you take that point and expand it throughout the week? You can approach it so many different ways. I've actually started trying to do that with my social media. Is every week, my personal social media, my Jonathan Malm account, is every week I have a thought and then I just approach it different ways. And it's been a pretty fun challenge for me, and it's been a new evolution in my social media usage.
Is it being well received?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm just even dipping my toe in the water. I think I can go about it even more. I've had some kind of revelations on a walk last night that I think I'm excited to try in the next couple of weeks to see how that works even more. So
that's exciting. So now answer me this, Jonathan, because this is something that, I always try to be a voice for our audience. And this is something that we even last week during the live stream, someone was like, that sounds great, but my leadership just can't buy into it, and that's a constant question that we're always having to answer is, okay, well, if we're not inviting people to Sunday, if we're not getting butts in seats, if we're not, what's the point? Why are we wasting money on this? And you say, lessen the importance of the sermon to spread it throughout the week. To me, that means
that's heretical.
No. But to me, that means, hey, you got $1,000. Or this is probably too little. Let's say $10,000. We got to give the $10,000. We can buy new lights for the sanctuary and light the pastor better so people in the back row can see him better. Or we can use that for the social media for the year to promote posts, to boost posts. So not only just to get our word out to strangers, but to also get our messages out from the typical organic 6% to half of the people that follow us on social media that aren't going to get it unless we pay. Now, if I was to say, hey, $10,000 instead of lights, let's get our message out to more people, but we're not inviting them to Sunday. We're not telling them we're speaking into their lives. That's a hard sell for leadership, for pastors, deacons, whoever has to make that call. How can you encourage us to get past that bump, that stump in the road?
And this is the fun tension that I live in, is that I run a website called churchstagedesignIdeas.com, which is all about live church staging and lighting and audio video stuff. So I have that aspect, and then I have this Sunday social aspect, which is almost two conflicting ideas. But I think one of the best things that a church media person or church staff member can learn is the idea of leading from the bottom. And it is possible to lead your leadership into a new thought. But what that requires is humility. It requires thinking from their perspective. It requires getting on their level and saying, okay, this is what God's trying to accomplish through them with the whole ministry. It's not about what I need. It's about what they need. And so approaching it from their perspective, realizing, okay, what do they feel like they're missing? So a lot of pastors feel like, man, our people just aren't reading scripture during the week, like they just don't read their Bible. They don't bring their Bible to church. Like the things they're feeling are actually things that you can totally accomplish with social media. Man, if they're not thinking about God during the week, then why aren't we using social media to help them think about God during the week? Like if there's this disconnect of what pastors feel like they're not getting their church to do and what we have the opportunity with social media. So it's figuring out what they want and then giving them the outlet to do that. But then also I think it's just, coming up with illustrations, ways to paint the picture of it for them. Is, imagine my wife, right? Like imagine if I had 1 hour a week to spend with my wife and it was just, an hour, a solid hour I could spend all the time. Or imagine I had throughout the week, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there. I had much more time throughout the week. Which one would I probably actually want the throughout the week. I'd want a little bit here and there. And that's really the opportunity we have with social media is man, we can give them that throughout the week. So it's that tension. Yes, the Sunday morning service is still important because there's stuff that happens at Sunday morning that can't happen on social media. And that's where I think we need to put our efforts into what can we do on Sunday morning that we can't do anywhere else? What's the best use of Sunday morning? Frankly, for teaching, I can get podcasts online. I can get great entertainment on YouTube. I can get all of this stuff. So that's not actually really the best use of Sunday morning anymore. The best use of Sunday morning is that this shared community experience of doing something together. That's the best use of Sunday morning. And then the best use of social media, again, is the social, that letting people share their thoughts, letting people chime in with their own opinions, letting people share the thoughts with their own friends, stuff like that. That's the best use of social media. So trying to figure out what the best use of a medium is and using it 100% with its capacity. Sorry, this is getting really deep, but hopefully it's good.
No, it is good.
I like it.
Yeah, it is good. One of the things that really sparked something in me, what you just said, that we spend so much of our time online now. Any given job, any given profession spends a lot of time in a browser throughout the day, and we spend time on social media. We spend time in the evenings watching a TV show and checking Facebook or checking Instagram and doing all this sort of stuff, where we actually get disconnected and stuff. And I think shifting a focus that the Sunday morning event is the rallying time. It's the time where we come together, where we have lunch, where we drink coffee together, where we visit, where we get caught up, where we hug, where we touch, where we have these physical relationships that are essential to our development as humans and as people and as a culture and as society, that we lack throughout the week. I mean, I'm here at my house, and I go to a television studio and I do a show, and then I come back here and I'm at my house making content and doing stuff like that. So, my conversation with you is here. Our conversations are online and stuff. But when we can get together, when I can stop by on my way down to see my parents and have lunch with you and stuff, that's where the meat happens, and that's where the relationship really takes a deeper turn. So, I think we need to encourage church staff and everybody to kind of, like you say, turn it sideways. That it's not the big public speaking event that is the thing. That just happens to be one of the things that we do during this time, and we need to make these gatherings much more rich. We have that 45 seconds that everybody goes around in between songs and shakes hands and says hi to everybody, and then that's it. We all leave at 12:05. We need to have more of that, and then reinforce the learning that happens there and stuff throughout the week, on the social.
Yeah, it's interesting that historically Sunday morning has been an extrovert's game, right? Like the people who hate the handshake, like I love the handshake time because I'm an extrovert, right? Like it's great for me, but there's a whole lot of introverts who feel like, man, I could totally do without that. I could frankly totally do without going to church, to a massive church and being surrounded by people.
Or nobody comes and shakes my hand.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, and sometimes you don't want someone to shake your hand. It's okay. Like it's okay to have a personal bubble. Like that's a perfectly okay thing to do. And it's cool because now social media is giving us an opportunity to actually speak into the introverts world, where historically church has been an extrovert's game. So it's kind of cool that we're getting an opportunity to reach out to another half of the population.
Yeah, that's amazing. Jonathan, I appreciate your time here. Dave, do you have anything else that you wanted to ask? Any other questions that were brought up? I think we got what we came for.
Yeah,
I got my money's worth.
Yeah, I think so. I think this has been really rich. I do want to let Jonathan know that I found this beet powder that's really good, and I can show you how you can get some for yourself. It's really good for your health. It's really good for your energy and stuff like that. So if you'll follow
hold on, I gotta leave real quick.
But Jonathan, it works.
It works so good.
Oh man, it's the worst when you have someone contacting you and they're like, "Hey, how you been? I haven't seen you in a while." And it's someone from elementary. You're like, "No way! What are you doing? So cool!" And then you're like, "I wonder what they've been up to." And you're like, "Oh, they're about to sell me something," and that's the only reason they found me. And it just makes I think that's what happens with churches so often. Is like
you feel used.
People feel used. They're like, "Hey, how's it going? We're so glad you're here." Now tithe, and that's there's a. I'm not saying don't ask for money at your church, because tithing is a beautiful thing. It's a fantastic worship aspect, but it's so often the reputation that churches have is that we only ask, and the only reason we're interested in you is because you're either coming to our event or because you're giving to us or you're serving us. Man, so let's flip that on its head.
Yeah, I agree. I
love it.
Dude, thanks.
Jonathan, we're running over each other again.
Yeah, that's okay. Here. Actually, you go ahead and thank him for being here and find out how we can.
Can someone thank me already, please?
Hey, Jonathan, why don't you pimp yourself for a sec? Tell us, where can people find you? Where can they get all your stuff, and where can they find out how to join your MLM?
Follow me on It Works. No, follow me at Jonathan Malm on Instagram. That's where I'm really focusing a lot of my social media energy there, Instagram. If you want to follow Church Stage Design Ideas, you can do that, Church Stage Design Ideas, or sundaysocial.tv on Instagram. Sunday Social, we post basically the graphics we make. It's our way of encouraging people throughout the week. And Church Stage Design Ideas, if you really hate social media and you want to focus on Sunday morning, that's fine. Follow me there. But yeah, follow me there on those three platforms, and we'll connect.
Fantastic. Thanks, man. We appreciate it. He has some really key insights there, I thought. When he said when he said we're trying to like witness to people through our church's social media thing, that's kind of tilting at windmills. I mean, that's not I mean, my atheist friend is not on our church's website. I mean, he's not on our church's Facebook page. You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying, and this is exactly what I was talking about this week. This week at the time of the live show,
right?
We recorded a training called "How to Be a Beast at Social Media," and goes along exactly with what we were saying. Don't advertise, don't make an ask more than once a week. Let's switch it up here. And I gave 6 other different post types that weren't, hey, join us. Come in. What you doing? What you waiting for? Why aren't you here? We love you. We miss you. You don't want to miss it. All that stuff. Like, no, I will allow you to do it once a week. And this is exactly what we were talking about in the training. If you missed it, if you're not part of Church Hacks right now, sorry, you missed it. It will be a mini course you can purchase at a very small price later on. But that's why we love our Church Hacks, founding subscribers. So it's exactly what we're talking about. That's not what this is meant for. No one goes on to social media because they want to be preached at,
right?
We go to different places for that. We go to podcasts for that. We go to church. We go to YouTube. Social media is a distraction. It's for education. It's for entertainment. And if you have a clip that can do that, awesome. If you have an image that can do that, awesome. You want to be encouraging, awesome. But it's very rare that you get outside of your circle, and the circle might be friends of friends or friends of friends of friends.
Right,
but
right.
You're not just going to find anyone for free organically on Facebook.
Right.
It's just not going to happen.
Now, that's not to say that your church can't have some resources that the individuals can share on their profiles. Okay.
Right.
So I do want to encourage that. There are those encouraging things. There are things like that. But
encouraging things, but no turn or burn kind of things. You're just going to be preaching to the choir. When that gets shared, it's being shared by your hardcore church members, and it's going to be liked and commented on by more hardcore church members. Right. You're forming that echo chamber. So instead, let's use it for good. And like Jonathan said in his email, let's have the church speak into the daily life of its members and not spend so much time trying to build that echo chamber and get out to people who don't know you. There's a time and a place for that. Paid advertising for sure. But organically, let's, like me and my church Facebook page is a place for, kind of like a landing page. It's where we show off what we've done. It's like our press release. Yeah. Our Instagram, we know, can be a little bit more discoverable. So we do a lot more encouragement, a lot more humor, a lot more behind the scenes there. So, you know what your goals are, but the goal isn't preaching 24/7.
Right.
That's like, network marketing, hey, here comes James. I know he's going to ask me again about a supplement company. It gets old real quick.
Yeah. It goes back to our idea of making your church relevant to the area, making your church a hub in the community. No one would be coming to your church, no matter how good the preacher is. If the preacher was standing out on the front porch, holding up his Bible, going, "Sinners, the end is near. Come now, ringing a bell," or even if he was standing out on a corner, in the middle of an intersection doing that and stuff, no one's going to go, "Gosh, I got to get to that church. Holy moly!" That's not going to happen. Change in people's lives is going to happen on a one-to-one basis, and it's going to happen in those times when you have a friend who just said that they had cancer and their cancer has come back, and you know that friend is not a Christian, and in the comments you tell them, "Hey, I want you to know that I'm praying for you, and if you need anything, I'm here." And then you turn around and direct message them in Messenger and say, "You want to go get some coffee? Can you have coffee with your chemo? What can you have? I'd like to come and just hang out with you." And then the two of you can sit there and talk, and you can pray with them and start speaking into their life and affect change in that person's life. Just like our stupid political rants and stuff, there's times when you need to speak truth and shed light on the truth. Okay, never shy away from that, but also don't just run out there yelling and screaming, right?
That's why people think we're crazy.
Right.
It's because they've experienced that.
Yeah, and the idea is we are, in a lot of ways, crazy, but they don't need to know that.
There's a time and a place.
That's right.
So Dave, we have. I talked about the Beast training.
Yes.
That's going to be up on for our CTA insiders to consume. We also have some other resources for our CTA insiders. Take us out. What is Church Training Academy, and where can we get more training and hands-on information and help navigating social media?
Well, the Beast episode, the Beast training that Justin did in our Facebook group, our Church Media Hacks group, is a free training that he did in there live. He came up with this crazy idea, and I want to tell you, I think it's a brilliant idea, that every 100 members, the 100 people that join, he would do a training, a Facebook training in there. And what we do basically is do the training and live and talk to folks and share all the information and all that sort of stuff. And then we leave it up for a few days, then we pull it down. And it becomes a course for CTA insiders. So if you are a CTA insider and you have access to all this sort of stuff, if you're not a CTA insider and you're saying, what's a CTA insider? Let me tell you what a CTA insider is. I'm going to see how many times I can say insider. Basically, you can become a member of Church Training Academy by going to churchtrainingacademy.com/join, and you can get access to all of the training, all the courses, all the guides, all the resources that we do. We are building a library. In fact, we have a lot of stuff we haven't published up there yet, including this mini course that he did over in the Hacks group, and some the one that he did this last week, the one that he did prior as well. All these different things are in there in our members section. Now, another thing that you get when you join the Church Training Academy and become an insider is you get access to our twice-a-month live coaching call. So what we call it a mastermind, and it kind of is a mastermind when you think about it. Justin and I and our insiders get together on a live group video call, and everybody takes a turn asking a question or presenting a problem or presenting a roadblock that they've come across, and me and Justin and all the other members try to help them get that problem solved. We work through it, and if it takes 5 minutes, it takes 5 minutes. If it takes 25 minutes, it takes 25 minutes. I mean, I've done trainings in there. I had a new member ask something about setting up their video studio at the church and what kind of lighting and stuff like that. And so I just started showing them. I had some pictures of our studio at our church, and I said, here's these lights, here's these lights. Let's go to Amazon for a sec. We brought up Amazon, and I looked them up, and I said, here's the ones that I bought, and here's why I bought them, and blah, 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 all this sort of stuff. So you get access to that, okay? And we're recording all that stuff, and we're putting it in the member section. So you get this really cool kind of like a growing knowledge base of questions and answers. Ask a question, what was it last night? Should our church be on Twitter? Okay, so if you go into the members area on the churchtrainingacademy.com site and type in Twitter, then as you're typing in Twitter, anything that has Twitter in the title or in the body of the post or whatever is going to show up, and then you can be like, here's a question. Should our church be on Twitter? And then you see the video of Tommy asking the question and Justin and Tommy discussing being on Twitter. Really cool. And that is a part of your membership. And then there's a whole bunch of other stuff. So just go to churchtrainingacademy.com/join and join. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, Jonathan, for sharing all the wealth of information and helping us to think outside of the box. It's always neat to have these aha moments, and frankly, my whole life sometimes is an aha moment, and this was definitely one of those. When he said that we're kind of preaching to the choir, and people aren't going out and searching out our church unless they're maybe a close friend of ours who has visited and likes our church or who knows our pastor or something like that. Everything started to click and all starts to make sense. So guys, take this information that we've gotten from Jonathan, take the pro tips, take all the stuff that we've been talking about today, and go out there and change lives.